All right, what's up, everybody? A little lunchtime talk down here. Um, One thing I was just realizing is that by being by being a musician, I spent all this time. Uh, in a lot of ways, you have to focus on the weak spots of your playing in order to improve. So I've spent all these years looking at, okay, this is wrong, 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 and picking myself apart. Um, so as a result, having this kind of uh, really a kind of negative view on my own playing, you know, because my focus is on like, okay, this is wrong, that's wrong. Um, I wasn't seeing what was good about it, and this is partially true. That there were things that I've like accomplishments I would make, and kind of like, okay, I feel good about this, I feel good about that, but overall, still really looking at like the negative stuff, nitpicking my own playing. Um, so yeah, that's another reason that I wanted to do this. Um, because I know I see other players, and when I see other players play, there's this thing where you can tell that they're really kind of enjoying what they're doing, and um, they're having a good time because playing music is fun. It should be fun, um, but there's this kind of natural, carefree enjoyment when they play. Whereas I always felt like whenever I got carefree with my playing, then everything got sloppy. And as a drummer, when you get sloppy, that's not cool. That's not a good thing. Um, so yeah, now I'm trying to kind of like get to the point to where I can play and enjoy what I'm doing, but have it not just have it not totally get sloppy. Um, yeah, and it seems to be working. So I do have to say, and I do miss just being outdoors and seeing the open sky. And I have this one little window behind me here that it's just a burning light. Um, and there's another window over by the bathroom, but that window I can only see like the street in front of me and the house across the street. And then this window over here, I can see like a couple houses, and then far off in the distance, I can see a little hill. So a couple times, like on lunch breaks and stuff, I'll just kind of take a second and look out at this little small chunk of hill that I can see in the sky, and it reminds me of being outside. So it's gonna feel awesome once I am done with this and can go outside. I'm gonna really appreciate that. Um, that's just kind of the way it worked for me to isolate myself from the world, meant not going outside. So, yep. Um, yeah, it's kind of like being in a prison, only it's a very nice prison with very nice accommodations, and my mom delivers meals to my door 3 times a day, and I have drums here, and I can play drums all day long. And yeah, so it's not really like prison at all, but just in the isolation sense, definitely cut off from the rest of the world. Every once in a while at night, I can hear the Caldwell Rodeo going on off in the distance. Like right when I open the windows before I turn on all the fans to get the air coming through here, I could hear them hooting and hollering down there. You know, they've got like the announcer and the big PA system, and it sounds like a lot of people. I mean, it sounds like a rock concert with just how many people. You know, I think it's this little stadium called Simplot Stadium. Um, I don't know how many it seats. You know, it's definitely not like a 70,000 seater. It's not there. It's like it might be like 10,000 people, something like that. You know, but you can hear the announcer, and then they have the crazy music that they play, and got the sound effects and all that stuff. Pretty funny. So that's been my only few moments when I'm sitting on the toilet where I hear Caldwell Night Rodeo. It's been my only outside world exposure. All right. And before I forget, last night I had this crazy dream. Two crazy dreams. One of them was about the Jameters. Oh, and they had gone through, Polly and Danny and the other guys had gone through these old videos of me playing, and they were they were like analyzing what I had done, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you had some nice stuff there," but then they're like, you had some nice stuff, in some of these videos when you were playing the right parts. That they're picking through all these things and showing me where I had played the wrong parts like 10 years ago or however long that's been. And then the other dream was that I was at a Blue Man show, and like one of the Blue Men couldn't make it or something. So I was like, okay, I can do it. Just put me in. And so they put me bald and blue, and I had to do like the opening drum segment, only it was different because there was just the one Blue Man, which was me, and I was on some type of contraption that allowed me to kind of like fly out over the audience. And so I was playing this whole thing, and the whole time I was like, man, I got this, dude. This is, like I'd never rehearsed it before, but I'd just seen it enough times to where I just knew how to do it. And I was playing this thing, and there was the crazy lights and all that stuff. And yeah, like everybody was pretty impressed. And there's like weird stuff happening backstage too, like all this technical stuff. It went from like a show to all of a sudden it's a rehearsal or something, and I'm standing on stage next to Kirk Massey, and yeah, I don't know, weird stuff. It's like all my recent professional drumming careers, drumming gigs, all in one night's worth of dreaming. All right, I think this is the end of day 17. Close to the end of the day. It's like close to 9 o'clock here. Stays light, late. Stays light, late. Stays light, late. I don't do much talking these days, so my tongue is a little numb. This is my 17-day beard here. It's starting to get itchy. I don't know how much longer this will last. I was planning on not shaving the whole time, going mountain man, but we'll see. See if I go crazy or not. Yeah, I feel like it was a good day overall. Just trying to kind of keep at it. I'm somewhat close to halfway. It's just hard to believe. I was thinking about how, like, in some ways, like 40 days may not be enough. I may not feel like if after 40 days, like I'm changed enough or whatever it is, but that's something I just gotta like kind of wrap my head around too, is that while this whole thing may be beneficial to me as a drummer and everything, it may not like completely transform me, it may not completely change me, it may just be like a good first step. um, getting me going in the right direction, you know. So yeah, I go into these things like the meditation retreat was kind of the same way. I was going into it kind of almost hoping that, like, well, maybe this will just change me completely and that'll be it. I'll be done changing and, I'll just be happy with myself. And, um, of course, that's not the case. And even through the course, they tell you, like this is kindergarten for Vipassana meditators. You gotta like continue this basically for the rest of your life. And I'm sure with music, I'll never quit trying to improve or whatever. But I guess basically, I'm trying to get to a point to where I'm happy with how I'm playing, at least for the time. I know that there'll be this like itch to keep growing that will just like always be there. I mean, Sam Rivers died at 87 and still had, he talked about having more creative ideas when he was at that age than he did when he was in his 20s or whatever. So I'm sure the same will be true with me. I'll just always want to be doing more. There'll always be more to be said. So that's something to, kind of come to terms with. But at the same time, there's like a certain level that I want to be at. So that, I'm comfortable just putting myself out into the world, or, I feel like I'm playing on such a level that I could kind of do any gig that I wanted to do and could express the ideas that I wanted to, and kind of let this flow of music that's in me that wants to come out, let that start to come out. Because there's always been this sort of self-doubt. I guess that's the whole thing. It's not how much I'm going to improve as a player. It's just kind of getting to this point to where I'm erasing self-doubt. Because that's a huge thing. I mean, if I could just do that, and, maybe I'll never completely erase that, but, I'm realizing how much of that is in my playing now. That's held me back for years. So it's time to do that, and that's what I'm trying to do day by day. Just get rid of that, get rid of the mental clutter while I play, to where I'm just at this point of not thinking, just letting music come through. That's the goal.